And now your host, Noreen McClendon.
Good evening, everybody. This is Noreen McClendon, and welcome to yet another session of Free to Heal, where we are formerly incarcerated and loved ones coming together, trying to heal from the wounds of what mass incarceration has done to all of us. And we are coming toward the end of a year, and a theme has developed to our check-in this evening of self-care and the importance of taking care of ourselves and why it's so necessary. So in my book, Hurt People Highway, let me leave that there and let me get my book because sure, I don't have it. It's not in there. Oh, I took it out. Anyway, I'm in violation because Miss Cheryl gets mad because I don't put my book up. But anyway, it's the workbook, okay? Hurt People Highway. In the book, what I say is that the most important relationship you will ever have is the relationship you have with yourself. Because every other relationship is going to stem from, if nothing else, what you believe about yourself is going to dictate how you show up in every relationship. So I know a person who is constantly claiming and giving a lot of power in their conversation, thoughts, and everything to being attacked, being harmed in a physical way. And the person has been on the job now less than 90 days, and already someone is stalking and harassing them and attempting to assault them, at least according to them. My point for saying that is this. What you focus on and what you believe about yourself. If you believe yourself to be a victim, you will become a victim. It's important to guard what you think about yourself and understand that you have the power to make your life happen. You don't have to let life just happen to you. And if you take charge of your life, things will be better, but you gotta admit who you are. I'm gonna give you an example. All y'all know this about me if y'all been around me any length of time. I want a flat stomach, but it ain't happening. Why? Because the truth of the matter is I like chocolate more. And roughly about 9 o'clock at night, every night. So clearly the flat stomach ain't that important. I believe in my head, I need that piece of chocolate at 9 o'clock every night, more than I need to have a flat stomach. Now, I can walk around and complain and why it's not fair. Why don't I have a flat stomach? Oh, he got a chocolate bar. Okay, see. Oh, the people wrong. The people wrong. Why he busted me out with a chocolate bar? Okay, and I'm gonna take it to I play with y'all. Y'all don't even know. Listen, I'm taking the chocolate bar. Put it right here where it's gonna be safe. I ain't playing with the people. That's okay. I'll get to it for a melt. But look, so what's the matter? Y'all want to end the meeting already? We just get started. I'm gonna save your chocolate for you, and then you cutting up already. Your body heat's gonna melt the chocolate. Oh my. Okay. Ooh, see what I'm saying? It's time to go. Anyway, what I'm trying to say, despite the peanut gallery, I'm trying to say something here. Now, I can play victim and say, no matter what I do, my stomach just isn't flat. While I go home, who the victim, Tony? Tony, wait, Tony, who you say the victim is? Tony, who's the chocolate bar victim? Okay, see, I think that's mean. Me personally, I think she being mean right now. I'm just saying. I'm just telling the people I think she being mean. All right, well, I'm gonna just move it, okay? Because they really, like whatever. But what I'm saying is, here, y'all. The reality is, I can sit here all I want and make up excuses for why I don't have a flat stomach. But it's because I'm not taking the responsibility. If that's what I really want, I got to take the responsibility and make it happen. But there's something else also that's really important because it's been going on with me earlier today as well, and being able to explain to someone this. Whether you believe in God necessarily or not, there is some power higher than you that makes you tick. How do I know that for sure? If you cannot tell me right now how many times you blinked your eyes today or how many times your heartbeat is something bigger than you just making things happen. And whatever that is, this is the temple of it. My physical body is the temple of that. And when I mistreat my physical body, I'm mistreating that. And that has, it never forgets an address. We like to call it karma. But the universe will line up that way and it'll make sure that it comes back to you. And this is the thing. We, particularly in society, I know as women, we are often socialized to nurture and take care of everybody else. And we're nurtured to believe, socialized to believe that if we say, no, I can't do that for you because I need to do this for me, I'm being selfish, and somehow that's a negative thing. But what winds up happening, I can tell you from experience, is you burn out. And when you burn out, people are going to step over you and go to the next cow that is milky. The world is going to revolve whether you are in it or not. I used to tell my mother, I used to say, Mom, you're going to work your way into the grave. My mother passed. We had a memorial service 30 days later. We cried. And guess what happened? It's 20 years later, and we still here. And there wasn't anybody for me on this planet better than my mother. Not just for what she did for me, but what she did for everybody. Her legacy of what she did is in this world, it will not be replaced. They have an elementary school named after her, a shopping center. All of the people that she's helped, whose lives have been changed, that is cemented in history. But guess what? We kept going. She was 66 when she died. That's young. But she spent so much time worried about everybody else. But she didn't do that for her. She would pay for me because she knew she overworked me. Me and her gonna have to still talk about that one day. But anyway, she knew she was overworking me, right? So she would pay for me to go get a massage because she knew it relieved the stress, but she wouldn't go herself. It is not in alignment with spirit law that we take care of everybody else and leave nothing for ourselves. The only way that we can be good in relationships with other people is to be good in the relationship with us. It's no good for me to take care of Tony and my house is raggedy. I'm going to Tony's house to clean up and my house is raggedy. That's no good. I'm responsible. See, one of the reasons too that people um, don't want to acknowledge the how do I say this, the power and the strength that's in them, they don't want, it's because they don't want to take responsibility for the state of their life. If I can say, okay, I'll use this, often happens in the church world with Christians. They go feel like they can go to church on Sunday and pay their tithes and be there for the church and then come out on Monday and act a heathen and be mean to people. But as long as I go in there and on Sunday, I'm in church on Sunday and I'm paying my tithes and I give up money for the pastor's anniversary and I sing in the choir and all of that, then I'm gonna be okay. No, you gotta be a better person. So, but there's a responsibility. See, the most painful lesson I ever learned was that I was in pain because I participated. That was the hardest lesson for me ever to learn. And when I learned it, though, it also empowered me because now I knew how to not let it happen again. But if I had only looked at what the other person was doing, I never would have realized the power in me. And I'm no longer, I have been victimized. As a little girl, I was molested. As a grown woman, I have been raped. But I am not a victim. I have been victimized. But that don't rule the rest of my life. It's not It's not who I am. Those people have to answer for that, not me. And I'm not going to give them the power to ruin the rest of my life. But I had to take that responsibility. So along with the grace and mercy of all, there's also a responsibility. And that's why a lot of times people don't want to be in charge of their lives. It'd be better if I could turn it over to my mama. If my mama hadn't, if only if my daddy hadn't died, if only that person didn't do this. Listen, what kind of life you want? Take responsibility and live it. Live it. You said you wanted to say something.
Well, you said so much that's pertinent to this, but when I went to the prison in Carswell, Texas, the warden, when you go into the A&O meetings, the warden came in and said to everybody in that room, which is what she probably said to every group that came in, go out of here better than you came in. You're here by yourself, you don't have your family, you don't have your kids. While you're here, learn something different. Go out, and going out better than you came in is also going out different than you came in.
Yes.
Are you the same person? Yeah, you shouldn't be, because that's a growth place.
And that is something that came up earlier also, which is this. When you're inside, I would always encourage people to, whatever work you need to do on yourself, do that while you're incarcerated. Why? Because you have the time. Things are moving slow enough while incarcerated to allow you that time. But once you get out and you're on the streets, the pressures of being able to feed yourself, house yourself, transportation, family, all of those things are pressure on you right at that moment. So what happens is you wind up, you don't have the time to focus on those things. So if there's self-work that you need to do, do it. If you don't have a high school diploma, get it. Whatever you can get while you're there, because life is slowed down enough for you to focus on it. I was telling somebody in check-in that it's also one of the reasons why relationships fail when people come home, because the person had the time to devote to the relationship while they were incarcerated. It isn't necessarily that they didn't mean what they said. And there's some of that too. I'm not saying that there are not people who play games to get people to support them while they're incarcerated. What I am saying is, what you say?
They're trying to get some feeds. It's cold outside.
What I am saying is that not every situation is that. People often believe what they say and they want to believe it and they want to live that while they're incarcerated. But the minute they hit the streets, the pressures of everyday life and everything else comes at you so fast that you don't have the time to slow down to think about yourself. But there's always that temptation. But the reality is if you don't take care of you first and make sure that you're whole, you gotta be whole in you. You gotta be whole. You gotta heal from your wounds. Or what you're gonna do is you're gonna spread that to everybody else. Yes.
Because if you're not whole, that means you're still broken, right?
Yes. Yes.
She asked, how do they know they need to?
Yeah, because that's what it says. That people don't be knowing what's wrong with them or what they're going to work on because they don't be knowing.
Okay, so let me say this about that. So you get
Make sure you speak up so they can hear you.
The young girls come in, they're wild, they're mad, but you get to a point when you're getting ready to do 30 years that you say, I need to change the way I am. I can't do time like this. I can't keep continuing to get in trouble. And I'm sure guys do that same thing, that there has to come a point at a certain age that you change your behavior and you start doing something different. And I hear a lot of people that did state time say, that's how I got out, because I started working on myself. So, yeah.
Well, and in answer to your question, Diane, the reality is that the same spirit that is in you that said to you something ain't right, it lives in them too. Right? So that's the beauty of it, is that nobody has an exclusive on universal energy. Nobody has that.
I got out because
And-
I got old.
but the reality is that even if you don't start off knowing exactly what it is, you know something has to change, and he'll show up in ways to show you that this is not working. If it's nothing else, nothing more than I can't keep coming back to prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
That something will click in a person that they know they have to change. We are not we're not built to know that something is not good for us and just and act like it's okay. A lot of people do that. They may feel like for circumstances or whatever, but inside of their heart, they know it's not right. They know it's not right. And we always, even in when we stay in bad situations, we're always hoping for it to be better and for it to get better. We always want it to be better. We may not know how to make it happen, right? And I understand that, but something, just like something talked to you, right? And something talked to me when I knew this pain right here, this ain't right. You know, I'm investing and I'm not getting a return on the investment, and it hurts me. Okay, how about that? We know what pain feels like.
True.
Everybody know what pain feels like. And at some point, that pain is going to point to where the problem is.
Yeah, but you gotta be true to yourself.
Absolutely.
I don't give a shit. It's just like when I went to the board and they said, well, you sorry you killed them too? Fuck no. And I told them that. I said, they challenged me, I killed them. What do you want me to say? You know?
Well, and you know what, but let me say this to you about that, right? That is literally, but listen to me. That is literally part of what I mean when I say you got to be honest with yourself about yourself. And that's exactly what you were.
I am.
You didn't tell them something, and you said this to us before, that when you went to the board, the one lady said, Mr. Pike, you have never changed your story.
No.
Not once from the beginning. In 37 years?
36.
36 years, okay? You stayed with it the whole way. And the thing of it is, you can't, if you tried to deny that you didn't feel guilty, it would have come off as phony and it would have registered wrong. And even still, they probably wouldn't have let you out. See, you're obligated to tell the truth to yourself. You don't have to tell us in this room, but you're obligated to tell yourself the truth.
I tell myself the truth.
You know, and that's the thing. And it's like,
I do.
and well, what you believe to be the truth, yes, you do.
Well,
Yes, you
that's
do.
all what matters. Is
For you,
what I believe.
And until somebody shows you otherwise, which we're gonna get to that on another occasion, okay? But we're gonna stick a pin in that and come back. Look at that face. Don't be looking at me. Look at that face. How you looking at me? Okay, it's okay. So I want to give my folks online. I want to give, and I'm gonna come straight to you, Frank, because thanks to you, we are having this fabulous discussion, and I want you to unmute and chime in. There you
Okay, am I unmuted? Oh, there I go.
Unmuted.
Well, you know, you were talking about doing the work when we're locked up, when we're away. And some people don't recognize how to get it done. Some people, like for myself, I knew that, like, I was like, you know what? Something's got to change, whatever that something is. But for me, it was a little bit easier because I knew that I needed to educate myself. Like a formal education, you know, going to school. So I got into school, I got into college, and that's when I started to change, because I saw that there was a lot more to gain than just the regular run-of-the-mill stuff that goes on in prison. I didn't do a whole lot of time, and I think I mentioned before that after I did my time, they sent me to a state hospital, right? And so I did time in a state hospital. And a lot of times I found myself feeling like I was one flew over the cuckoo's nest because it was, you know, political, a lot of bureaucracy. But that's where I really started to dig in at, even though I started to get the college education, I got my GED and all of that. But I started to learn about myself, and I had written like this paper about All my life, I've been walking around with this backpack full of bricks. And I finally got a chance to take that backpack off because it was time for me to figure out how did I get to this point in my life, right? We can talk about, yeah, exactly. We can talk about like the predisposing factors, the things that happened to me when I was younger, the belief system that went along with it, the distorted thoughts that led me to, right? But all of that had to do with me not knowing who I was and not having a good relationship with myself. And so when I started to learn about myself, and it took like, no one is going to teach you about you. You have to learn about yourself, through your experiences. You always got to look at, I'm going to use I statements. I always have to look at what is my role in this situation. If it's an argument, what's my role in this argument?
Yeah.
Right. So, and I think for the most part, when we talk about people needing to do the work when we have time, see, I catch the bus right now, and it's time consuming to walk to the bus stop, to wait on the bus stop, to have my head on a swivel, right? And then to get on the bus, and all of that is time consuming. But I didn't have that when I was locked up. So I did have a lot of time. I filled my time doing positive and productive things. I learned how to crochet, all this other stuff. But all of that was a part of getting to know me. Right. And those are the things that hey, you know what, man, I never knew that they tried to get me to crochet. I was like, y'all crazy. I ain't no old 65-year-old lady. Right. But guess what? Guess who's crocheting? Guess who's trying to start a business selling stuffed animals and scarves? And I love it.
I love it. I love it.
And that's a part of who I am. That's a small part of who I am. And I'm still learning to get to know myself. And so there is work that has to be done. And we have to realize that for me, I'm taking advantage when it comes to relationships. I'm taking advantage of the relationships that I took for granted when I was out there running amok, and it's the best feeling in the world to be able to give back love, because I know that I'm lovable. I know that I am able to receive love, but I'm also able to give a lot of love too, because anger, anger being a secondary emotion, like happiness is an extreme emotion when you're laughing and you're having a good time, but nothing compares to love. And when you love in yourself, it's going to come out when you start loving on other people too. But the work has to be done.
Force in the universe is love.
It is. Yep, it is.
And I had a great experience, and it's not time yet for me to talk about it, but love was at the root of it, and
Right.
I will share it with you guys when it's time. But sometimes we lose sight of love, right? We get caught up in whatever feeling we might have about a particular situation, and we forget to show love, right? I'm sad when I think about, so I saw earlier today, I have to go on the internet to get into my email, and there was an article about the person at the McDonald's where the person called and reported the guy that shot the CEO of the insurance company.
Yeah.
They started giving them bad reviews on Google and Yelp and all these different places, talking about they have rats and stuff like that to keep people from going to the McDonald's to kill their business, because the employee did what everybody would ask them to do, which was report if you see, because let's be clear, the killer was a dangerous person.
Yes, he was.
If you watch that dude, that wasn't the first time he had done that. He was way too calm. And that's as far as I can go to say about that. But I'm saying this dude was way too calm. And it's like, we don't want him on the street. I don't care who he killed. While I agree that the insurance companies, if you formed a department to find new ways to deny claims while people's lives are on the line, that's vile and inhumane.
That is.
But so was the killer. And now you want to target the business where the franchisee, if it's a franchise, they not super wealthy, trust and believe.
Right.
Certainly the worker at McDonald's ain't wealthy. You want to kill their livelihood behind being outraged over the dead person who was causing other people to die by denying their claims? What kind of mess is that? Where's the humanity? Right? There's gotta be some love. Like, where's, again, for these people whoever reported this person was only doing what was right.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants a person who was a cold blood. That man killed that man with people there. Lady walk. He didn't care. Just because the person that he killed was vile doesn't make his murderer a hero.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't.
One doesn't automatically mean the other. And so the reality is that the most powerful emotion and power in the universe is love. And when it's not executed, that's what more people are upset about than anything. They don't feel loved.
Most
Yep.
people don't like murder.
Wait 1 second. I just wanted to give Mr. Man here an opportunity so he can be seen and heard. Say that again, sweetie.
Mr. Man, who the fuck is that?
Yo ass.
Nobody likes a murderer.
Right.
You know, you tell people you was in prison for murder. If you're looking for a job, you can figure your paper going in the trash can. You know, but where we who have killed don't think about it as anything. Like when you're in prison and the dude said, "What you in here for?" Murder. What you in here for? Oh, I was a burglar. You a son of a bitch. You know, you a sneaky bastard.
Well,
at least a person would kill somebody, just went up there and killed them.
well, and I can say I understand what you're saying, because I learned at 18 that anybody could become, in the right set of circumstances, could become a murderer. And it was the outrage that I felt over someone who had stolen something from my mother. My mother had been really gone out of her way to be really good to this person. And when I realized that she stole from her and had been stealing from me throughout the years, I blacked out. I saw red, and I waited for her. And all I kept thinking was, if she doesn't give it back, I'm going to beat her with this pipe. I don't know where I got the pipe or any of that. So at a very young age, I realized, oh my gosh, it scared the hell out of me when I came back to myself and realized where I was and especially because I was in that state. She had stolen a necklace. The necklace could have been replaced, but my life couldn't have. But at the moment, all I saw was red. Like if you close your eyes and the red dots come to you, like in the sun, and I literally saw red.
You know what? When you do something wrong outside, and I don't give a shit how big it is or how small it is. When you get those cuffs on you and you're in that car, fuck it, because that's exactly what happened. Your life is going down the damn tube.
Yeah, it certainly took a turn, didn't it?
Yeah, and then if you get real angry, listen to the cop talking about he's gonna go order a pizza when he goes home.
That felt insulting.
Fuck yeah! Why are you thinking about?
That's just funny.
You're going.
That's just so funny. I am so angry that he's going to go order a pizza because I'm getting ready to go in
the penitentiary. Tell me how I'm getting mad.
Okay, getting mad for that. But I want to, DW, I want to give you an opportunity to weigh in too.
Oh yeah, we kind of strayed away from self-care, but I mean it all ties in. But like I was saying, in the pen, you got time, you got groups. At first, I was reluctant to go to groups. I did 21 years before I even stepped in a group really, and and actually participated. You know, I might listen to AA meeting or something, but I wouldn't ever speak up or nothing. So I was reluctant to join the group. I didn't want to talk. I didn't think much wrong with me. I mean, I did a horrible thing to a human being, and at the time I kind of felt justified, and I kept, and I kind of like, you can't really lie to yourself, but I kept this feeling of like it wasn't that bad. Someone slept sleeping with my wife, I stabbed him, and so
You felt justified, and you justified it in your head,
yeah, I
even
kept
though the reality
justifying.
it was no justification.
No, violence against another human should never happen, even if we feel like it's right. But because it's all feelings, it's all self. It's a perspective, and our thoughts are wrong. Like Frank was talking about, distorted thinking and false beliefs and stuff. All ties in, and man. So, okay, back to self care. Out here, I haven't, unless I'm forced to, or not forced to, but like unless it's in a meeting on Zoom or in person, and they start meditating, I'll meditate. But if not, I ain't meditated a single time out of from my choice. The only meditation I feel I get is a daily. At the end of the day, I'll water the lawn, and that's the only time it feels like time is slowed down enough to even like ponder the day or go over things. So like I'm out. I've been out a year and 7 months, and I, it's gone by so fast, and I don't get time to spend with my loved ones uh, as much as I want to. I have a girlfriend, and she's a headache in herself, so I have to deal with that. And there's no time. I mean, I'm doing things for other people, but I don't. But I do it for myself too. So I do it to show my work ethic and to experience more and to learn some things on the job from other people and from myself. I'm a self learner, but I learn by making mistakes. So there was a lot of mistakes made, and I learned a lot.
Well, I will say this: there's got to be a better way than just making mistakes, right? So, at some point, the hope would be that you would grow to the point that you can learn from other people's mistakes and not have to live a lot of them. Learn a good lesson, and then also the idea. I want to expand this just really quickly and say this: the idea of self-care and the importance of your relationship with you um, is bigger than just what you would do to meditate and things like that. I'll come to you in a second. It comes when there's a choice between um, doing something for yourself or doing something for someone else that may be of service. So a lot of times we will put ourselves in service to other people.
Yeah.
And we put ourselves on the back burner because they need something. And we do it so consistently that before long, what we do for ourselves is the last thing. For a long time, I was last on the list. And nobody could argue with the kinds of things that I was doing, working at the nonprofit, managing Little League football, managing my son's acting career, going to school. Nobody could argue with any of that. But it was too much.
Yeah.
It was, and all of it, and I shouldn't say it was too much because the universe lined it up that way, and here I am. But I began developing a habit of I'll get to what's for me later.
Right.
I'll get to the things that benefit me later because it's more important for me to make sure that everybody else is okay. Well, guess what? In a low key way, that's arrogance. And I didn't even know it. I didn't even know it. It took a girlfriend to say to me, hey, I hear you keep complaining about your bills. I got some extra money. I'm gonna just, and I said, and my first thing was, no, I don't need no money. I'm supposed to be able to handle my own bill. I'm grown. I should be able to handle everything. And then it's like, you better take that money. I'm sitting in the boat. Your relief right now. You better get on that boat. Okay. And then found out afterward, mind you, she told me, I put up some flimsy excuse, and she goes, well, I said, I don't even know how much that is. I don't know. No, I don't even know how much it is. And she goes, that's okay. I'll give you a blank check. When you add it up, let me know and fill it in. You can pay it back when you get ready. Okay. And that's what it was like. You better get on the boat. And I took the money. And then when I paid her back. And she said, that was a test for me of my faith. That if he gave me the money, I could give it away and he would give it back. So the long story short is I would have been blocking her blessing, blocking her growth by me refusing. But it was a sense of arrogance that I didn't realize, that I'm thinking I'm supposed to be able to handle everything. Who told me that?
You told yourself that.
Yeah, that's some bullshit. That was some bullshit I told myself. That I'm supposed to be able to handle it all. No, we're not. Everybody needs help somewhere along the way.
Yeah,
We still got on a body.
it's tricky.
But guess what? Guess what though? We're not, okay, as humans, we are interdependent, whether we like it or not. We're not gonna we don't live on an island.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, everybody's gonna need somebody somewhere along the way, period.
Well, I'm used to being, isolated. I did it before I went in, and definitely when I was in. So, I mean,
and I want to say
that'll make you feel like a man on an island, almost.
And let me say this to you.
Hard to swim away.
That was a choice you made, sweetie. I want you to explore in your mind.
Right.
That was a choice that was made. Ask yourself why you made that choice. Why you could, and see, that's going to go way back. I guarantee you it's going to go way back, but I would encourage you to explore that, because it's a habit for you now.
Yeah.
Just in your conversation, and you're not meant to be alone. You're not meant to be isolated. Okay. The first man was told, wait a minute, it ain't good for him to be alone.
Hello.
Right. And it ain't good for you to be alone either. And like I said, and listen, I will almost guarantee you that it was a protection mechanism, a valuable principle that was actually perverted inadvertently to cause you to isolate like that. And once it started, now it felt normal. It felt like the thing I'm comfortable doing, so I do it all the time. And listen, I see your wheel spinning, right? Sit on it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, sit on it. Stick a pin in it. We're gonna come back to that.
I know where it came from, but yeah.
Okay, good.
That comes up for another thing.
That's
time.
Wonderful. Say that again.
So we'll talk about it another time. It's deep. It's deeper.
And listen, and so I'm so glad that at least so that what I was saying to you, I don't know anything about what you were just thinking, right?
Right.
But I'm right.
Yeah.
You're right about this. Because there is a pattern that operates the entire universe, and it works a particular way. And when whatever happened, you know what that is. So I just thank you. I thank you for your transparency.
Right.
But the reason I said what I say is I want you to be whole, and to be whole, you're not going to be whole in a box.
Mm-hmm.
And see, you went into a place that really supported you isolating yourself, which was the worst thing you didn't need. You didn't.
That's why I wanted to stay.
Huh?
That's why I wanted to stay so long. I didn't reform until 21 years. I only had 7 to life.
That is something.
I did it on purpose. I did it on purpose.
Wow. But at least you can admit that to yourself. See, that's why this relationship you have with you, why it's so important.
Yeah.
You gotta understand it, or you'll never be able to make an adjustment or a change if you don't at least admit that. See, because the world will provide a lot of justifications for stuff and a lot of reasons why to make that sound okay, but it's not okay, baby.
Right.
It's not okay. You need love too, right? And somebody needs you to love them back.
Yeah.
So give and get. Become that so you can share it. Become that so you can share it. So that's kind of good. Okay, all right, I feel it. Okay. And Mr. Joaquin, Mr. Joaquin, how about you check in for me? See, any comments on the topic?
Yeah, speaking on the subject of self-care, like for me, self-care didn't exist for many years. And it's something that I'm still working on, because it's an everyday thing that we got to work on. And I mean, especially for me,
Uh-huh.
because when I was incarcerated, I still was so self-centered, thinking that I'll never get out. So I just continued to be the person I was when I got incarcerated, until a traumatic event happened in my life when my mom was ready to, when she told me she wasn't going to live much longer. That's when I made the decision that I needed to make some changes because she deserved it. And my mom was basically like how your mom was. She did everything for everybody else, but nothing for herself. And since I got out, it's an area that I still need to continue to work on, because I see the patterns that my mom did that I'm doing to my kids now, because I feel that I owe them. And that guilt that I had, and even my daughter would throw it in my face, you owed me, you were gone all my life. But it came to a point where I had to tell her that I don't owe nothing to nobody. I told her I don't owe nothing to nobody, and I'm no longer going to feel guilty for my past. Just just the other day, she asked me for $200, and I told her I don't have it. I can't help you, because just handing her money, because I was feeding into
It's
that
emotional
guilt that she,
manipulation.
yes. So I told her no, and then she didn't call me or text me for 2 days, and it's like, exactly. Oh well, she's gonna get over it. She's gonna understand that I finally put my foot down. And I told her, no, this money's for my grandkids for Christmas. It's for them. So I couldn't be there for my daughter then, but I can be there for my grandkids today.
Okay, so Joaquin, I want to say that that is a prime example of what I was saying to JW about it expands beyond just doing physical things for yourself physically. It goes into the realm of you standing on principles. You had decided what you were going to do with your $200. You decided that. Just because she thinks you should do something else with it, you get to stand on what you decided for your life, for your money, for your grandchildren. And if she's mad about it, she can be mad or scratch her ass and get glad. Don't matter. Because ultimately, what's in your heart was placed there by a power higher than you. Something higher than you is saying, I can't do this, but I can do different with my grandchildren. And it put it in your heart to share that with them. And that's your choice. Like we're not obligated to live up to everybody else's expectations. We talk about that here at Free to Heal. We've talked about it several times. Particularly when people come home from prison, other people will put their expectations for what they want you to do on you. And it's your responsibility to set the boundaries, because other people have an idea of what they want your life to be, how they view you. Most times, people have you frozen right where you were in their life before you went to prison. They don't move beyond that. The only thing that would happen is if you was the worst person in the world, the monster grew, or if you was the best person, the hero can't wait for the hero to come back. And I need them to do this for me. We're going to do this. All of that without ever talking to the person who's coming home from incarceration. So the expectations will be severe from people, but that's not your responsibility. You're not obligated to live up to that. And what's in your heart to do with your $200 is up to you. And that is also about self-care. It's called having boundaries and honoring them yourself. But you got to know yourself so you can set the proper boundaries. Because, okay, and also talking to J Dub, there are some point where the boundaries become excessive, right? Without us even knowing, we're not even paying, we don't intend that, but that's what winds up happening. So this is a prime example of what I wanted to say about it being not necessarily just about taking a rest, getting them right around asleep, eating right. No, it's beyond that. It's about what, and more importantly, what we tell ourselves about ourselves and what we honor about what we think, feel, and need. And somebody said something about, I think it was J-Dub said about feelings. Feelings are just that. We need to explore why we feel what we feel. If you do something that makes me angry, I need to ask myself, why does that make me angry? And I need to be honest with myself about the answer. Because just because I feel that way and I'm angry doesn't mean that I need to respond. Because sometimes it may not even be none of my damn business. It may not be none of my damn business. And I'm mad about something now, I want to go off and get in somebody else's business. When in reality, it's not mine, it's not my fight. One thing I have found, when it's my fight, I get the tools to fight it with. If I'm supposed to make a change in it, I'm in a position to be able to do that. When I look up and there's a problem and I know that there's nothing I can do to make that any different, no matter what I would do, then I know it was never my fight. It was never intended for me to do it. It's for me to get the hell out the way. Let me get out the way. Get in your damn lane, Noreen, and stay there. Okay? Stop jumping in everybody else's lane. Because part of that is thinking, it's that savior complex. I think I'm supposed to save the world. Who said that? Who appointed me? Who died and appointed me? Everybody? Nobody. Because the same thing that's in me is in you. That's why I was telling Diane, like, they gonna get the same questions. It's gonna be revealed to them just like it's revealed to you. You know? And so it's just one of those things. But I want to give everybody in the room too. I'm gonna come this way. Miss Tony, any thoughts, baby?
I think for the gentleman talking about his soulless behavior is an inherent defense mechanism.
Make sure you talk up so they can hear you.
It's a defense mechanism. When you isolate and separate, you have strong feelings about how you were done or how you were treated in a particular situation. I do also agree in regards to self-care, having a conversation with someone earlier today about having to be responsible for so many children in my family, and my family never setting a boundary. And you know, when I initially or eventually set the boundary, I was an even bigger bitch than I was before the boundary. And you know, I welcomed the crown because my level of self-care had deteriorated to the point that you know, my daughter looked at me as if she didn't know if I was going to be able to make it. But it was the compounding of people's expectations of what I was supposed to do for them on a continuous basis that I had to set a self-care boundary that 20 years later still exists today. And I think that it's extremely important. It is not just about making an appointment for your hair, nails, or feet and massages and things. It is about how you treat yourself and
how you let others treat you,
and definitely how you let others treat you. And you know, I have strong opinions about it, and you know, I have an I don't give a fuck attitude about it, because my opinion is what makes me okay being able to get up in the morning, being able to go to sleep at night, is about the balance of self-care that I have as long as I'm breathing.
Yeah. And thank you. I always liked you. I always liked her. Anyhow, Miss Roberta.
I think I heard you say about the savior thing. I think that's me.
You think?
I know it's me.
Okay. Cause I was gonna say, I could tell you for sure that's you, sugar. But go ahead.
I mean, it started a long time ago when I was protecting my mother, so it just stayed there, and I just took it on my life. I don't even worry about myself. I worry about everybody else. Ain't my damn business. Just today, out my window at work, this girl, she stopped the corner and the dude jumped out, and she was out the car too, and he began to push her. And
triggered.
Yeah, I had to just kind of turn around, and then I just walked out my office because my thought process was
go out there.
Leave her the fuck alone, dude. You know, and getting in some. So yeah, I had to walk out the office, and just hopefully when I walk back in, they're gone. Because, yeah.
The practice makes perfect.
Yeah,
The rest of your life to practice.
well, and I'm glad that you were able to at least put something in place to prevent you from doing what you otherwise would have done. In other words, okay, and that's a valuable thing too.
You didn't catch.
It's one thing to, once you've identified that there's an issue. But I told my friend today, I said, you know, you act like a person who used to smoke cigarettes, who tells you, well, now I know I was smoking 2 packs a day. Now I'm only smoking 5 cigarettes. In order to become a non-smoker, you got to stop altogether. You can't wean it down. No, as long as you smoke cigarettes, any number, you still smoke cigarettes. So if you have the savior complex, just because you only saving half the people you used to save, you still violating the same thing because you're not their savior. Right. And listen, I know that it comes, see, what happens is it comes from a genuine principle that nobody can argue with. Who can argue realistically, Roberta, with you trying to stop a person from being abused? Right. Who would be, well, that's not good. You shouldn't. Why would you stop them from abusing her? Who would say that? Nobody would say that. Right. But the reality is, it's not her fight. And it's a lesson that's going to keep coming up until she totally is a non-smoker. It's going to keep coming up until, no, one day you're going to say, it's not even going to affect you. It's not like that feeling. It's not even, you're not going to have a mechanism in place to prevent you from doing it and hoping when you get back, they're gone. It'll be, okay, next. Right. So it's just interesting that is that way. Ms. Cheryl, any final comments from you, sweetie?
It's always a thing that you can't be good for anybody else unless you're good for yourself, right? So the self-care is very important, that you make sure you're okay.
Wonderful.
I was happy to hear the conversation that everybody is having, all the comments, because I finally took off my Captain Save a Whole jacket.
Woohoo! Yes, you retired it?
Yes, and it feels really good.
Yeah.
I feel really good now. I really do. I really feel good because I felt like so guilty because every time I turned around, it was always a crisis, but it was never my crisis.
Choose your battle.
But I never did think of it like that because I thought it was mine because they called me, so it's mine. But now I know it's not mine. It feels good.
Every one of them don't belong to you.
Yeah,
every fight is not yours to fight.
No.
Steve, would you like to please come and give us your final comments, Steve, for the evening? Come on, Steve. Come on, Steve. Come on here and talk to the people. What you think, Steve?
I'm loud enough.
Okay, there you go. Let the voice carry.
I struggle with that self-love stuff because growing up, take care of your siblings and your extended family, it's like, you don't want to be that what if? What if I didn't answer the phone call and something happened? Or, you don't want to feel like a letdown. That's why I struggle right now for my family. I want my nieces, I want them to have the best, my sister, my brother, whoever, my friends and family. So I love myself. Don't get it messed up, but I'm not there to say I can't just, I got to answer the phone because I love my family unconditionally. So I struggle with that every day.
And I forgot about that, but that's true. You definitely got a cape issue.
Yeah, you do.
His cape, let me tell you something. His cape is long and heavy, and it's been that way his whole life. Okay. And it's time for him to live for him. But yeah, I forgot about that. But we all over his toes today, wasn't we? I didn't even realize we were stepping on his toes like that, but we all over his toes, y'all. Just believe me when I tell you, okay? We're trying to get him to grow beyond that. Mr. Ben Gonzalez, the only one who knows how to check in. Would you like to give us your thoughts?
There is a word they say, feed the people how you want
to be treated.
Mm-hmm. And very, very important, to know how to. I would say I love myself. I want people to treat me good. I want to have a good relationship with the people. And sometimes it's easy, when people treat bad, I cannot react bad,
Right.
I no more.
Yeah.
I just accept it. I accept my mistake, and try to do the best I can next time.
Well, it's not your mistake, it's the people, because if that's how they are, that's how they are. It's not a mistake. That's them, it's not you.
Yeah, but I feel like I have to be example, you know.
Right. I understand.
But you know what, anyway, we have to love everyone, you know. And we have a good time too, you know, we have a good, they no, and everybody, but people, we have a good people out there.
Okay.
You know.
And you know, something you said, Ben, that's important is that some people say treat people the way you want to be treated. Some people, I wouldn't want to be treated the way they treat themselves. So you need to treat me the way I need to be treated, because some people that they abuse themselves in ways that I wouldn't want you to treat me like you treat yourself, right? If you put yourself last on the list for everybody else and you treat me like that, that ain't exactly a good thing for me. You know what I'm saying? So some people, no, I really don't want you to treat me like you treat yourself. You know, people who abuse themselves and stuff like that. But I get there is a valid principle, but again, that's an example of when a principle starts off right and it goes too far, right? So that was something that came to me when you said that. Any last words from you, sir?
Yeah, when you get old, just tell them all to fuck themselves.
Okay, that's one way to do it.
Yeah.
That's one way to do it. But I will tell you guys that this has been a wonderful conversation. I thank you all for being here. Hope that people get as much out of it that we have here. And we will see you guys next time on Free to Heal. See y'all next week. See you later.